Hi. So I have always heard people say there's no one who loves you more than your mother. And yeah, I've heard it so many times that it seems like the norm for everyone. On the internet, in person, all that. Like people saying my mother is my best friend. Even the most disgusting of people think very positively of their mother and the experience of having a mother. But I it doesn't process in my mind because whatever they're describing does not sound like my mother at all. It's different. It's different. They will say that a mother is compassionate, a mother is loving, a mother cares about you, a mother is always praying for the best in your life, and a mother always wants to see you succeed. And I question this because it seems so normalized and universal. A while ago, someone uh, spoke about their mother and said, "My mother is my quarterback. It's the most important supporter of my life. My father is neither here nor there." Another one was telling me that my father is the problem. My mother really loves me and is the best person in this world. I don't comment, but this is not the experience with my mother. And I would say, personally, I feel like she's cold. Like it's a hard thing to explain, but she's cold and disconnected. Not the loving and tender, caring person. If I were to be very honest, I'd say she's more to the gangster side, if I were to use that term. She's more gangster than she's loving and compassionate. She has grown up in very difficult conditions with her parents. Being the last boy in a family of nine, she claims she was neglected, and the older ones were taken care of, and their parents were already tired of these children by the time they go to home. So maybe she was also disconnected from her, but she's very disconnected. She's very introverted, quiet. Uh, I don't know any of her friends. I don't know whether she has friends or not. I don't see her speaking to anyone. Her phone is always on silent. The only person I see her opening up to a little bit and laughing at jokes is my father. Otherwise, apart from that, I don't see anything. And we can stay together. Like we can be seated together here, and if you found us, you wouldn't think it's our mother and son unless you looked at how similar our looks were. You would think I was seated with a stranger. It's so hard to talk to her. She has these one word or one sentence answers or no answers at all. And she wasn't helpful as a kid. Like I didn't really like her as a kid. I remember when I was 8 years old, there's this classmate of mine that dropped a bomb question on me. And he's like, if you had to choose, like if your father and your mother were like drowning or they were going through something, and you could only save one of them, who would you choose? So the answer was very obvious to me. It was my father. And I said it very quickly, my father. And then this boy seemed shocked. And he challenged me like, but your mother gave birth to you. How could you let the person who gave birth to you die just for someone else who didn't participate in like carrying you for 9 months and all that? Why? Like, why would you choose that? I didn't answer him. Like, I was confused. Like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, what you're saying makes sense. I should want to save my mom, but I didn't feel like it. I know children are honest about how they feel. And that's how I felt. I felt like my father loved me and cared about me, but I didn't feel that love for my mother. And she used to beat me a lot. That's common in African culture, so I wouldn't fault her for that. It's not something I'm complaining about. But it's the way she did it that made it feel like she had a vendetta against me. Sometimes I feel like she didn't want to give back to me, or it was not the right time. Maybe I was a mistake. I don't know. Those are not things African parents talk to their kids about. But I feel that because she would use her cooking stick, the mwiko, and she would beat me with it until it broke. And she died. I remember she broke like two muikos. The other ones were strong enough to withhold it. And then she didn't have money to buy a new one, so she would use the half one to cook the ugali in the evening, very angry at me. And yet she's the one who beat me with it and broke it. And sometimes she used the belt, sometimes she used slippers. But when she used the belt, I felt cruel. because a belt has two sides, the leather side and the buckle, which is metal. My dad was very careful to make sure he only hit me with the leather side. But my mom would hit me whatever side that was closest to him, to her. So I remember her hitting me with the metal belt, and I'm like, "Are you trying to kill me? This is metal. I'm just a child. What what are you doing?" So that was a bit hard to process. And then there was a time I wanted to learn how to cook, but she wouldn't teach me how to cook. She just, I had to observe her cooking. She was okay with me sitting there and observing, and that's how I learned to cook a few things, just by observing her cook. So, but every time I tried to cook and I asked her, well, how much salt do I put? It's like, I don't know. Like, you put salt every day and it's always enough. How don't you know how much salt I'm supposed to put in? She was like, I don't know. And then I would cook the food. I remember cooking some chapatis and I forgot to put salt, and then they were hard and crusty. And she took them, took a bite, and then started making fun of me and making fun of how bad the chapatis were. Like, you should have told me, like, to put salt and how to knead them properly so that they don't become hard and crusty. But he was laughing at me, and I was feeling very down at that time because I wanted to cook. The other times I'd cook just normal food, I'd put in too much salt, and she would just laugh. She wasn't even concerned that I wasted time in the kitchen. I thought she'd be concerned about that, but no, she didn't teach me. She would send me to the farm to take care of the crops. That time was when I was still very young, and yeah, I wasn't a very good farmer. I would the gem when I used the djembe, I would cut off the maize and all that. So after all, she's like, "No, I don't want you near my garden anymore. You're just destroying the crops in the name of weeding them." So yeah, at that time she didn't let me do that. But honestly, like, I don't feel like she's not the tender, loving kind of mother. No hugs or kisses or asking how I'm doing. No, I love you or I care about you or any advice on life, how to deal with this and that. Basically, left me alone to go and do whatever I wanted to do. I just stayed out of my life. It's like we were coexisting by tolerance. We are tolerating each other. And yeah, I felt that disconnection. And then even as a person, just not as a mother, even as a person, I feel like she's cold. There's a time my dad came and he's like, this guy died. And yeah, whenever I hear news of death, my heart just sinks. It's a scary thing. I've always gone through that since I was a child. Since I learned about death for the first time, the death of someone just sends me into shock, even if it's someone I don't know or someone like not related to me at all. But they knew this person, like she knew the person, and she started laughing. I was like, what, what, what's going on with your mind? Someone just died and you're laughing. And she continued laughing. I didn't ask her, but it was just going in my mind like, how how mentally messed up could you be to laugh at someone that maybe the person wronged him, but I didn't feel like that was enough reason for her to laugh in that moment. And she would say this saying frequently, and she'd say it in Kikuyu. And she's like the villagers. The villagers had this thing where when if someone died, the entire village would come and attend the burial. And for that, you had to be like in good standing with the village, like participating in activities for cleanup and draining trenches for water, anything that the community was supposed to do together. And then um, the villagers would threaten you that if you didn't participate in it, they would not bury you. And my mom would just laugh at that threat, and it's like, no one is going to be left hanging on the surface after death. They will have to be buried, whether it's by the city council, the government, or the villages. They'll have to be buried somewhere. So that's not something she was worried about. And yeah, it seemed very cold and disconnected from life. Even now, I still don't know any of her friends. I see her pictures when she was a child with her friends. But as an adult, as long as I've known her, I don't know any friends that she has. She stays alone. She could stay alone without talking for the whole day, from morning to evening, and maybe talk to my dad at night after he comes back from work. But otherwise, she's disconnected. So and she was also very vengeant and angry. I remember she fell out with my step grandmother like about 20, was it 20, 22, 23 years ago. That was back in 2003. They fell out. My step grandmother happened to say something negative about her, and she was brutal with her. She has never forgiven her. It's 23 years. They still don't talk. She's still holding on to uh, that thing that my step grandmother said. My step grandmother is old now. A lot of diseases. She's in her final stages of life right now. She's pretty old. My grandfather died like 24 years ago. So she has outlived my grandfather by so many years. But yeah, she's vengeant and unforgiving, and she's straight to the point. If she doesn't like what you're saying or what you're doing, she says straight to your point. So honestly, I could say it's probably her bringing. She didn't grow up with a lot of love, so she probably doesn't know how to give love, or maybe I've been brainwashed by the Western idea of love and how it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be portrayed. Maybe I'm reading too much into Western kind of literature, and my I've lived like having lived abroad for a while. I guess I gained another picture of what a parent should look like that doesn't reflect the African society and its leanings. But yeah, she's all I have ever known. I don't hate her or anything, but I don't feel like family to her. Like I would be sad if something bad happened to her, or she's sick, or she passed on, or anything like that. But I don't feel like I can sit down with her and have a conversation. The last conversation I had was about the Bible, and it was the longest conversation I've ever had with her. She was willing to engage me in some conversations about the Bible, but that's about the only conversation we ever had, and they were short conversations. My dad doesn't like talking about the Bible at all, not because she hates. He respects the Bible so much he doesn't want to question it or even have any discussion that would undermine whatever the Bible is saying. So yeah, that's my review of my mother. Um, yeah, it's been a long time. I something else like I have forgotten. Like I forgot this. She used to give me like she's really a strong woman. Like she would go to the river to get water, and she would carry like three jerrycans like together on a wheelbarrow. She used a wheelbarrow, but she expected the same of me. Like I was about 13, 14 years old. So she expected me to do the same, three jerrycans on a wheelbarrow. And yeah, when I was a bit younger, like 8 years old, and my brother was born at that time, she would make me carry my brother. And then I'd be like, my brother is too heavy. Like I don't have enough energy to be carrying him on my back for like 5 hours. And then she'd be like, either you carry your brother or you carry this sack full of potatoes. I'm like, I can't carry the potatoes. The potatoes are obviously too much. But they were heavier than me. So the only option I have is to carry my brothers. Like, choose one. I don't have anyone else to help me. It's only you. So I felt very disappointed. I carried my brother for like 5 kilometers. They were going to a farm where she was supposed to get the potatoes after working. They paid her with potatoes instead of money. So yeah, I remember that, and I felt like she she wasn't like thinking clearly about me and how I was feeling. And yeah, I did that. I carried my brother on my back, and yeah, my brother doesn't know about this, but uh, I remind him one day once he grows older that I used to carry him, and yeah, I would look after him when my mother was gone, and yeah, the responsibility was on me. And yeah, those were those times. Right now we are okay. I think she lets me be in my lane and do what I want, which is something positive from her. My dad is very controlling in what he wants to happen. He has a strict set of moral guidelines on what is permissible and not. But my mother kind of lets me go and do my own thing. So that's a positive I've had as an adult. She doesn't beat me anymore. She stopped beating me once I went to high school. And though disconnected, I still feel like she does love me in her own way that I cannot explain. Thank you.